They say sex makes a man weak before battle. There are those who also believe that doing it with the right person makes you stronger for battle. Over the years, the Black Stars, there's been several reports of the players sneaking in girls to their hotel rooms. And to these reporters, that is one of the reasons why we've been not performing in major tournaments and then not being able to win the AFCON for more than 40 years. Today on the GhanaWeb Mundial show, we are discussing the myth of no sex before game. All over the continent, all over the world, there are regulations about sex in every country. Ghana, according to several reports, our own is that no sex because they believe it affects the spirit around the team bonding and everything. Today, I have the perfect guest to discuss this topic with you. My name is Joel Chen, and this is GhanaWeb Mundial right here on GhanaWeb TV. Stay with me as I go for a break. When I return, I'll introduce the guest and then we'll start the discussion. Today, we are talking about the myth surrounding sex before game. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching GhanaWeb Mundial right here on GhanaWeb TV. Today, we are talking about the myth of no sex before game. Football, basketball, cricket, everything. There is a myth surrounding it that, oh, if you are going to play, if you are going to box, you don't have to have sex because it might affect your performance. Many of these people who say that believe that spiritually it works against the athlete. Joining me to do this discussion and then in connection to the Black Stars is the editor of blackpepper.com, Mystic Mike. Mystic, good morning and thanks for joining me here.
Many thanks for having me.
And then one of my favorites, my favorite person, Amma Broni. His father said his name is Paula Poku, but he prefers Amma Broni, Paula Amma Broni, Amma with double M. Exactly. Host of Moons and Cuddles, and then Nkomo. Yes, and then for lately, I've been seeing her host Talkatainment too on GhanaWeb TV.
It's an entertainment journalist thing, yeah.
All right, Broni, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me here.
Thanks. Myths around sex before game. What have you heard about the relationship between sex and then sports? But because we are talking about the Black Stars and the World Cup, we will limit it to football.
Great. So usually when we talk about sex, we all think about the good feeling, but then we overlook the benefit it gives to the body, right? Yeah. Sex is good, depending on how you do it. You get what I'm saying? But in football, we've had there's been so many stories where people actually think that when you have sex before a big game or a big event, it will diminish your performance. But then researchers, people who are qualified, who are in that field, have proven that actually sex contributes to a player's performance. So it is not entirely true. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I read about it and then I realized that just like eating good, sleeping good, having good sex before a big game can make your immune system happy. Okay. And sex is also a form of exercise. And when we talk about sportsmen, what do we say? They have to exercise all the time. So if you're having sex with the right person, it will keep you fit. That's not to say it will replace the whole treadmill thing or working, exercising on the pitch. It's different. But then having sex will help, blood circulation and all that. It really helps. So sex for sportsmen will help. It depends on what you're doing. You see, some people believe in spirituality. Ahead of a big game, someone will decide, I want to keep myself holy, pray to God and stuff like that. That is different. You get what I'm saying? So someone like that will abstain from sex because they've committed the game to the hands of God and all that. But then for someone who's got a wife or a committed girlfriend, having sex before the big game will help. And even after the game, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. It reduces stress, it reduces your anxiety levels. So if I was a coach, right, and then I know that I have some people who are married, I would advise them, go out and play. When we come back, we play big time on the field. So it is not entirely true. I would say it's a myth. And it doesn't apply to just men. Yeah. Women, both men and women, it really helps. And this is not based on just fabrication. I'm just saying it. I've read about it.
We'll go into what the experts have written that you got the chance to read because that's your field. Moons and Cuddles, as on GhanaWeb TV. Mystic,
Yep.
what have you heard before we go into what the experts have been saying about it? What have you heard about the myths surrounding sex football?
Well, generally, coaches and managers are wary of their athletes and engaging in sex before crunch games, fearing that there might be injuries, fearing that there might be fatigue, and so they'll be lethargic during peak performance time. And so, even at Munchendi level,
Yeah.
the coaches who serve as mentors and fathers urge the young ones that, as much as possible, reduce the incidence of sex prior to crunch games that we need to win, because their thinking was that you would not have the stamina to be able to be fielded for the 90 minutes. You can't perform at your maximum output because you had given away your energy to a woman prior to that game, you know. So that was the thinking around. And I went to a Saito school. I went to Sempe 8 GSS at Mamprobi, the Salvation Park. It was a series of parks. We had about 5 parks because it was a combination of schools, different schools. So, and you know, those days there was land. There was land. So our time, we could play ball from one school park to the other, you know. And something I realized that during the zone competitions, the other things, the coaches were very particular and urging the players that if you want to excel, if you want to go far, you must be wary of the women because they will take your energy away. But of course, as the years have worn on and as research has shown, it gives mixed signals. There's mixed signals to this thing, and as you mentioned, that when we get to it, we'll discuss it.
The myths surrounding sex and football, that is what we're talking about on this episode of the GhanaWeb Mundial right here on GhanaWeb TV. Broni, bringing it down to the Black Stars, and I know for most of the women I know, I cannot point 5 ladies who love the Black Stars more than you.
Exactly.
They just ended AFCON. I think we did most of the coverage with you. And then after the tournament, we had reports that players were sneaking in girls to their team hotels. And then probably having sex must have been the reason why we performed horribly in our last game against Comoros. Linking it to what you've read, what the experts have said about having sex before games, how do you, when you hear this report, how do you react to it?
Okay, great. It's because of the 40-year drought, right?
Yeah.
We expect more from the Black Stars.
Yeah.
They were our favorite. Anytime they go for World Cup, AFCON, we know they're going to perform. But then for some years, we haven't seen that wow performance.
Yeah.
So because of that, everybody bore. We all bore. So the least thing that we'll do, it will get on our nerves. Okay. They call it sneaking. These people, sometimes those are like the girlfriends that we know. Yeah. We report about girlfriends and wives of footballers. Yeah. So when you say you are sneaking the person in, I think we can replace it. But as I stated,
I think they use the word sneak because per the camp rules,
you are not allowed to bring someone in. Yeah. Great. I'll come to that aspect. Yeah. But I'm saying that it's because of the whole thing about Black Stars. Currently, they are not performing. They are underperforming. That is why the least thing, that's what told me, I said, the least thing, you the ball. You get what I'm saying? So it's because of that. But then let's appreciate that Black Stars, anytime they are going to play, is full of tension. Like, everybody's watching. Even if you try to do your best, like, they want something more from you. So we have identified that sex actually reduces stress and anxiety levels. So why don't we go for it? Some people are doing it, but as I stated, any time, you get what I'm saying? I might be in that camp. I might be very spiritual. I'm praying to God, like, God, please give us a breakthrough. And then I see my friend, you know, making love with someone, right? I want to say me fasting. You get what I'm saying? So with that, I think it should be private. Yeah. It should be private. You shouldn't make it obvious. You know, some people are in the camp for various reasons. Some people are there to get the news, the gossip and all that. So if you want to make out, find somewhere and make out. Don't make it so obvious. Besides, you don't put these ladies in good lights because the men, they always get away with it. and the girl's name will pop up. Oh, you were sneaked into the. I had an interview with one of these ladies. She had to clarify the whole thing about. I don't want to go details into it. So I'm saying that it's just because of, you know, if the Black Stars were our darling boys back then, I'm not sure this would have been a big deal. But then you underperform, you two are getting sex. You know, you get what I'm saying? We ain't hit at that.
All right. So what is the scientific evidence backing this? Per what you've heard from the experts, having sex before game, does it really affect your performance on the day?
No, it doesn't. I would say it doesn't because there's this university in Pennsylvania. There was some researchers who were saying that it actually keeps your immune system happy. It reduces stress and anxiety levels, and then it's a good form. See, sometimes you walk into an office space, you see someone come happy. They're like, hey, sister, no. Maybe you got some D before coming. You get what I'm saying? When you have good sex, it's so obvious. You get what I'm saying? A woman, you get to orgasm. It's so obvious that, you know, you've been relieved. Sex is a good therapy, right? But then because of the whole certain that it's not even limited to Africa. There are even foreign, some coaches who would say that, okay, because of that myth, I don't want my players to have sex before. Save the energy. But then it's not all about losing the energy. There are so many things that... Great. Sex is not always losing. We say, oh, then men, you use all your energy, you transfer it to the woman. No. It relieves your blood circulation. It gives you a free mind, a clear mind to play and score and make the nation proud. So I would say that researchers have proven that is... I saw a video about an athlete who was telling the partner that she doesn't want to engage in sex because she doesn't want to underperform. But then it showed that when she had some good dick, I'm sorry, allowed to say that. I think it wasn't count, it was 18 plus. Sorry. When you have some good sex, you go on the field and you perform. So it has proven. So we should move from, the hearsay, the myth, and then accept the reality. If your player wants to have sex and then they have a wife, because I know that some wives are being starved, because my husband is telling me that, my coach says that I shouldn't have sex, and then the players, this is our rules. You are starving somebody's legit wife. She should enjoy her husband, regardless of your play, and she's even helping. She's even contributing her quota to making sure that the boys win their trophy or whatever. So the Black Stars, we should give them a little break. You get what I'm saying? But I'm very hopeful that Qatar, they're going to do us proud.
Paula, Amma, Broni, Amma with double M saying that we should give them a break because there is no scientific evidence that shows that sex before game affects the performance of the players. Mistake. I'm going to play a video from one of the sports science in the United States. They did research experiments of a female boxer. They took his punches, his blood samples, his energy levels, and then they asked her to go and have sex with the husband. When she returned, her punches had increased. The weight in her punch was also heavier before she went to have the sex. We will play the video for the viewers to watch. But what's your take on this with the scientific and then what we've read?
Well, with the Black Stars, for instance, their last outing at the AFCON was a disastrous campaign, not only because of sexual rules, but also because of very poor preparation and having not learned lessons from the previous administrations and from wanting to always benefit on the back of the Black Stars. You will recall that heading into that campaign, Ghanaians were quite critical of player selections. They were critical about the financial arrangements. They were critical about non-disclosure. And it has carried forward right into this campaign that we are heading into Qatar as well. We have about 18 days into Qatar's maiden World Cup hosting. And other countries have released lists of their players. Ours have not as yet done it. Other countries have released budgets for their expenditure going into the campaign. Ours is telling us that they have designed a budget that deals with every stage they get to and the money they get, and that even with all of those, it is only after the campaign when they return that they would make those disclosures, the monies allocated and all that. And these were part of the problem. But going into the issue of the sex for competitive sport and all of that, I think the video you played showed a boxer and another female boxer as well have sex proud, and then later to determine the indicators.
Yeah.
Now, what showed was that there was quite a slight, improvement in the readings regarding the speed, the power, punching, and all of that. But then this was 12 years ago. When you check it, this was 12 years ago, and since then, the literature has been updated. Yeah. And also that experiment was only a one-off. That's only a one-off experiment that they did, because you would need to do experiments over a certain period of time to be able to form a consensus that this actually could be replicated over time, over different locations, with different people. And so we must bear that in mind, that was just a setup for one or two entities. Yeah. Now, the literature going forward is that having sex prior to playing a competitive sport, and then not having sex prior to that game, prior to playing that game, there isn't any significant change. There's no difference. If you had sex or you didn't, it's not a key determinant in your performance on the field. When you check it out, that's the latest findings, that different case studies that were done over different countries with different athletes recorded. So the fear that most of our coaches and all had, that you'll be giving your strength to a woman, is unfounded. They can have sex a day prior to that competitive sport, but the key thing was that you must rest. You must have a good rest. After having had the sex, you, the athlete, must rest over some hours before game time. Yeah. And so if you're able to do that, your body recovers and you have no problem. The problem is if you have sex 2 hours to game time, then there is a problem, because your body has not had time to sleep. Your cells have not had time to, rejuvenate your muscles, and so you are going to be lethargic. You cannot perform to the level that you knew that you could perform to. 2 hours sex to game time is problematic. Having sex the previous night with your partner and sleeping till the next day, you have no problem.
That's Mystic Mike, editor for blackpepper.com. Today we're talking about the myth around sex before game. But before we take a break, let's watch the video put together by the sports scientists of Rock Boy 1138. They did a research sample. They initially did the research on a male boxer, and then they moved to a female boxer. Let's watch what came out from that experiment. All right, so you watch the experimental video put together by Rockboy 1138, sports science about the myth surrounding sex before game. This is GhanaWeb Mundial, and today our topic has been no sex before game. A lot of countries have rules surrounding this particular issue. When we come back, we will take you through the rule. In Brazil, they've won 5 FIFA World Cup. Brazil is the most successful country in the history of football. We'll take you through the rules in Italy, Germany, England, Spain, Australia, and our neighbors, Nigeria. We will look through their rule for sex before game. My name is Joel Leshen, and we'll be back after the break. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching GhanaWeb Mundial right here on GhanaWeb TV. Today we're talking about the myth around sex before games. And then we are doing this because of the Black Stars. after the 2019 AFCON, the story was the players sneak girls into their hotel rooms, even a night after the game against the Carthage Eagles of Tunisia. Same thing happened in Cameroon after our abysmal performance saw us exit the competition from the group phase. Now, they say if you want to make rules, you look at the best practices that is being done elsewhere concerning the big countries, because we are going to play in the FIFA World Cup. And then these are some of the samples we put together per what happened in the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia. If you go to countries like United States, England, Switzerland, Italy, Netherlands, Uruguay, and Australia, they say sex is good. So as far as you are not raping or forcing anybody, sex is good. And in these countries, United States, they've not won a World Cup before, but England, they've won. Italy, they have 4 World Cup. And then Uruguay, they won the first edition. They have 2. When we go to Spain, they've won a World Cup in 2010. Germany, they have 4. These 2 countries, they say they don't have a problem with sex before sex in camp or something like that. Just that you cannot do it a night before their game. So if Germany, they have a game tomorrow, you cannot have sex tonight. When you go to Russia, Chile, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Mexico, they've done nothing in football. They say no to sex. Once you are in camp, from that 1 month period, if you are a man, try. France deals with frequency, type, and the timing. So France, they won the 2018 World Cup. They are saying they don't have a problem with sex before game. But it's the frequency of the sex, the type, can't well raise your legs, something like that. And then the timing. The timing, I think that was what Mystics spoke about, maybe 2 hours before the game. And then you go to the most successful country in the history of football, Brazil. They have 5 FIFA World Cup. They say that sex, do it all the ways that you want. Anyhow you want it, just do it, but not acrobatic sex.
Okay.
So that is Brazilians' rule on sex. Then we go to our neighbors, Nigeria. They too, they don't really have a problem with it. But their problem is with who you are doing it. Per what I read, they think that sex with your wife has been ordained by God, Allah.
They don't want to lose show in the
Yes,
in the
so
camp.
once it's your wife, they don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
By your girlfriend or any other lady, mbano, you know go work. Belgium, they were in the semi-finals of the last World Cup. Their rule is that the World Cup is 1 month. For the first 3 weeks, you cannot have sex. So meaning that the first 3 weeks of their campaign in Russia, Eden Hazard, Lukaku, and the likes couldn't have their way through. But in the semi-finals, which was after the 3rd week, they were allowed to do that. And when we come to Ghana, no.
The rule is no.
No. So these are some of the best countries in terms of football. Their rule about sex we put together. For this time around, I'll start with the mistake.
For the Samba boys, there couldn't have been any other choice. Brazil is a carefree, free bird country. And they are naturally gifted. Their players are born with it. What are you going to teach Romario, Rivaldo, Ronaldo? What are you going to teach them? That is it. Romario wanted to travel to go for a festival. The coach said, give me 2 goals. You can go halftime. Gave him 3 goals in 15 minutes or so and flew a plane. That's how good they are. And so for Brazil, their flair is there. They will give it to you. They will give you the results. Leave ourselves life alone to us. Let's do our thing. The problem many teams have with sex and all that is, one, the chaos that comes with married players who go to tournaments and have an appetite to sleep with hookup girls and prostitutes. Okay. That's the problem. So everybody knows you're a married man. You've come to tournament in a country. You want to sample the offerings.
You came with the other baby girl.
Exactly. No, they don't come with the other baby girl. They sometimes even go to the host countries, and then sample the offerings of that tournament and that country and all that. That's the problem. It is there they are going to sample different countries, Russian ones, British ones. So, and then there must be discipline in camp.
Okay.
If there's no discipline, there's no code to be followed. And we have 2 players in a room, and you go and bring an Olo show in the room. Where do you want your other occupants to go?
You go to the other boys and pitch.
So therein lies the problem.
Okay.
How long are you going to last, and how are you inconveniencing that fellow? If he doesn't subscribe to your way of life, he is going to
becomes a problem.
Exactly. And then rumors will start flowing in camp. And it is not healthy for a team that has been trying so long to achieve a laurel in decades, both on the African front and on the global stage. And so that's the key problem I find managers of countries that say no, they want to avoid all these issues. Because if you are not able to manage it, it derails all the planning, all the financial investment that has been done, only because of pleasure.
Broni, if you hear that the most successful countries in the world in terms of football, Brazil, England, Germany, France, Spain, Italy, they don't have any rule banning sex. And those who are not successful, Russia, Mexico. As for Bosnia, they've never qualified for the World Cup before. If you compare these 2 scenarios, what impression do you get?
Yeah, I know there's a saying that goes that we learn from the best, but then we cannot dispute the fact that Ghana is a highly religious country. You get what I'm saying?
Are we religious than
I
Italians?
don't reckon.
No, wait, I'm going to come to that. So I know in sports there's you do drug tests and stuff like that. Yeah. So in countries that claim that you cannot have sex 3 weeks to the game and stuff like that, how do you check if the player got some?
Since they are saying you don't, and you know sometimes when we say don't, but there is a rule or we've given a timeline, I think that most times people obey, because I know that after the 3 weeks,
because it's teamwork.
It's teamwork.
Fine, if that's the case, fine. But then, as Cranium said in the song, nobody has to know that me and you have, get what I'm saying. So we have to understand. When I bring it to the case of Ghana, right? Yeah. We've tried so many times to win the AFCON. It's not like they don't have motivation when it comes to money. They have the money. Yeah. They have the support. They have me, girls, women rallying behind them, but still no show. So it's about time you sit down. Sometimes you need to make some sacrifices. There are sometimes you need a job. You want something very dear to your heart. What do? We've been told that you have to take some days off, fast, pray, ask God, go deep, into your heart, go down on your knees and ask Him for, and then we always have a breakthrough. I'm very religious, I'm a Christian, so I'll say it that way. So if the Black Stars have tried everything possible, including the love that they have, the support, the money and everything, and it's not working, just maybe, see, you can get sex, you can get the love making any time of the day. And then these players are big time. Sometimes they even have to drive these ladies away. So what will happen if you dedicate just that month to, going down? I know that the team, they pray and all that. Yeah. Muslims, there's a mixture. But then they come together to pray, commit the game into the hands of God before the start. So, what try A, no what try B, and work here. I would advise that. To hold
but so with this point, are you trying to say that if you are a married man and you are fasting, you don't have to have sex?
See, sex is married. Means you're married. God recognized that marriage, so then it's free. But then I know that some pastors, when maybe they have big events, their wives, wives of pastors, they understand that, oh, my husband is in that realm. So, oh dear, let's put the sex on. Not to say that sex is bad.
So I want to get the point. Whether sex affects your spiritual life, even if you are
No.
you are in it.
For someone who is very spiritual, as I know as Christians, there are sometimes where you go down deep in your closet, then that's when you let go of certain things. You know, we can't wait. If you really want something from your father, you really want something from God, and then you are still sinning back to back. How would you get? But then in the case of married people, no, I'm telling you that pastors who have major events, they go like this. Okay, I'm not going to have sex. Not to say that God has not said you can't have sex, so they can. But then they know that, okay, I'm dedicating myself to this thing. So I'm going to put everything aside just because I want this. And then it happens. I have put in, like, you know, it's real because I'm a believer. You get what I'm saying? So I'm saying that if you tried A, you've tried B, and it's not working, maybe you can say, because it's not like the sex you're not going to get. You can get it anytime. So it's just an advice. If indeed the team, you've said that, okay, fine, we're going to put sex on hold. And then it's a collective thing. Maybe we are, because you 3 days faster, my boys. Now you're going to have
yes,
drama.
but
and then they went cheating.
No, but I see, the 3-day fasting, because I think last month, on the 23rd,
they declared national fast.
22nd and 24th, they declared national fasting for every Ghanaian, whether you are home
Football
or abroad,
lovers,
that we should pray for the Black Stars, because our target is to get to the semi-finals of the Mundial. And that, I can't imagine how that day will mean for Ghanaians, or for Ghanaians, even if it is not the Black Stars who get to the semi-finals, but any other African team, because that is a feat that we are yet to achieve. I was saying that, so if we are fasting and I'm a married man and my wife needs me, am I going to say that, Charlie, I did fast too, so I don't go?
Oh, no, it's an understanding.
Since in the eyes of God, once you marry, sex is not a sin.
No. You can have it anytime. That's what I'm saying, that it's a personal decision. Okay. Sometimes you give away something to gain something. It is true. What I'm saying, a believer will not discredit it, because they're like, okay, it happens. Sometimes when we are in that moment, when we are in that realm, we have to, you know, be holier in all aspects. Not to say that sex is bad, when in the case of you being married.
Which country was concerned with the type of sex? That was France. France.
I think France is, and they say the frequency.
Type.
The type.
I'm interested in the type because...
And the timing.
The France makes a valid case, because there are many types of sex that one can have. If I'm a pro athlete and tomorrow I have a crunch game, the previous night, I want to have sex with my partner, would I lie down and let her perform fellatio and then ride me? Or...
Relax, which one is the fellatio?
Oh, that's BJ. Or am I going hard and like press up, pounding her team, or am I going adventurous and carrying her, and in the process damaging a rib or cracking?
That's deep.
Exactly. So the type that they mentioned is very, very key. As a pro athlete, before crunch game, let's say Ghana, we managed to...
Okay, so let me give you an example. Like, maybe in our first game, we draw with Portugal. We beat, or maybe we lose to Portugal. We beat South Korea. And our final game against Uruguay, we don't, if we avoid defeat, we qualify to the next stage. Is that a particular time?
So a player of the Stars, for instance,
like Kudus or Thomas
are good. You already, these two players are injury prone.
Yeah.
And let's say you took your wives along. Let's just say their wives were in camp, and then maybe the night before, crunch game away, you say, oh, you know, release stress. Then you could do a party already that you are on one leg already. You are going to do the deed. You won't lie down for madam to do everything. Then you say, oh no, I'm feeling energetic. You are going to carry madam. Then you hear, kudus. Oh, party, already. Then we hear, they say, oh, previous night, domestic injury, domestic accident. Then the whole Ghana will be on fire. About domestic, what happened in that domestic house?
Do men have sustained injury during the process? Let's be real.
People even have
See, so you're saying that in that crucial game where we were looking forward to qualifying to the next stage, we have accepted that sex releases, it reduces anxiety level. So in that crucial game, if you want to get some, why not? You get what I'm saying?
No, it's the vigorousness of it. That's what I'm saying.
Be gentle.
Exactly. So if it's a gentle sex,
Be gentle.
if it's a gentle sex, fine. But not when our hopes, our aspirations, our money, everything is on that game. Then you say you want to be adventurous. My brother, please.
No, maybe
Imagine-
he's a pro at it. When you're good at something, it's hardly that you're going to break a leg or a
Paula,
rib or whatever.
people have had muscle pull from having sex.
It
Paula.
will go. With time, it will go. It's not going to last you 3 hours.
Okay, so Broni, imagine that 2010, that game against you.
Baby,
Jan missed the penalty.
I go
baby,
take it.
Oh, baby. Then it came out that
you know, a BBC interview came out. They went to FIFA.
Yeah.
They went to his home
Yeah.
and said, "Baby, what happened with the penalty?" He said, "My brother, I don't know how that ball went up."
Yes. And I'm saying that imagine it
came out
that
the previous night exactly.
It's going to be bad.
It's going to be very bad for
Very
him
bad.
because he said he himself he cannot explain
how
the ball went there.
All right, so you're still watching GhanaWeb Mundial. Today we are discussing the myths of no sex before the game. Our last topic on this, then we go. From my reading, I realized that the aspect, they say that sex before football or any other sporting discipline does not affect your performance. But then that clause sex is into two. Bad sex will mess up your day. And then good sex
Can alleviate
can
and make things better.
enhance your performance. Broni, how will you, as a player, how will you know that at that particular point, the sex you're going to have
is terrible.
will end up in a terrible way that you won't be satisfied?
No.
So if you have sex with your wife is someone you've been having sex with, and you know that sex is good with her, why would you risk it and say, oh, maybe I met a lady in Qatar, so maybe I'm just going to crash with her? Invite that lady who excites you. Invite that woman who knows your sport, who knows how to do you better than anyone else. And then do with that person. With that, you are assured. But if you just want to carry, you get what I'm saying? You want to carry it, maybe that person, anything could happen. She can come to your room and take your watch or whatever. Then you are thinking, woo, this is my customized watch. I lost it. You don't have a clear mind. So it's always safe to do it with someone who is recognized that as your wife.
All right, so you are saying that
That would be a good sex.
because good sex enhances your performance or
Reduces anxiety
maintains your
levels,
energy
yeah.
level, and in order not to risk having sex that you end up not being satisfied, it's better to do with someone you already know.
Yeah, because you, the player, in your mind, you want to clear things off.
Yeah.
You want to feel revitalized, energized. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So you know who does it better for you. You know who sex is good.
Well, wives
And it's your wife.
Wives give bad sex too.
No, I'm saying.
Wives
So
give
if
bad
you know
sex
your wife gives you
too.
bad sex, why you go and say you want to have sex? Then just go play the game and come back. I'm not going to say you should find a replacement because I'm not going to be finding my husband go somewhere and say, you know, I give bad
Wives-
sex. And so you're going to
Wives
get
give bad
someone
sex
who-
all the time,
So then,
Paula.
so then, don't say you
Just
want
play
to
your
have sex.
football.
Just go play football.
Just play your football.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mistake.
Yeah.
How do you maneuver your way through? Because in the case of France, they are saying the frequency is also a problem. So maybe they are expecting you to maybe one, then you sleep.
You know they are called the Love City, Paris. They call the Love City.
Then maybe you also know yourself that maybe
can
as a guy, you've never been satisfied
With one.
With one.
I have to go 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you go about it?
Well, I think in the light of other countries banning sex,
Yeah,
totally.
well, we have Russia, Chile,
Exactly.
Bosnia, and then Mexico.
So if I'm an athlete, I'm a French footballer, having realized that other countries are even banning their footballers prior to games, and our federation has told us to have one or 2 rounds. I mean, we should be thankful with that. Even though I can go 4 rounds, I'll manage the 2 for the sake of the tournament. Joe, I'll manage for the sake of the tournament.
You should manage. Something
just to keep me going. You know, the oil needs to be changed. So when the tank is getting full, just change the oil. Let the car move on. Later, we can do full running.
After the win.
Exactly.
Yeah. After the win.
Exactly.
All right. Now, ending the show, let me ask your final words for the Black Stars. Would you advise them to stay off, just comply with the rules? 1 month, go to Qatar, play your game, and come back. When you come back,
it's in their best interest, because the lessons have not been learned, Joel. I do not think this GFA, the Okreku, what's the GFA's president name? Ket Okreku. Yeah. I don't think he appreciates the concern Ghanaians have with these Black Stars. From the Kwesi Nyantakyi misdeeds, I don't think he takes seriously the reservations Ghanaians have about their money issues, their money engineering. They are not coming forth with disclosures. And Ghana is in a very tough space, as you know already. Ghanaians are suffering. And this is the time for austere measures. This is the time that I think they voted $25 million for this campaign.
Yeah. As it stands now, the sports minister says they know the budget, but he's not going to
exactly. But Nanado
until after the tournament
previously had said, I think 25 million was to be devoted for this campaign. $25 million.
I just need one, and then you won't see me again.
Compare this to other footballing states and their monies they voted for this campaign. And that's not only all. That's not just that. The bonuses that Ghana pays to its players per match appearance and per wins is high on the ladder compared to other much advanced footballing states. And then give us the budget to you as it stands till the tournament concludes.
Yeah, so
for you, the players, for it to come out, because journalists will be there.
Yeah.
If Ghanaians get to hear again that you have gone to ship in girls,
and then we don't get the results
from UAE, from Dubai, and they should be wary. They should be careful that where they are going to, it is illegal to sleep with somebody's wife or to sleep with someone you're not married to. They should be very guarded. Because this is not just any African country, any European country, any American state. This is, you're going to the Emirates. And they have to be very careful indeed. Lest they scupper any chance they would have had in advancing through the group stage. Because as it stands, we will be counting our stars if they go exceed the group stage.
Yeah.
The preparation has been abysmal. It's been shrouded in secrecy. Players that ought to be on board have not been included. And the favoritism, the player management, advancement of our players so that we can make money still continues unabated. And it is quite worrying, Joel.
All right, so we had Mystic. He says, just go and play your game. Because one thing Ghanaians do not want to hear is another report of players, bringing in girls when we don't get it. When we get the results, nobody cares how you got there. Broni?
My advice to the boys is very simple. I will say that currently the Black Stars, we have the finest players. I've seen some of them, and then at club levels, they're doing so great. Yeah. I would say that these players are not teenagers. They know what they are about. You get what I'm saying? So I will leave it to them. Sometimes when you're mature, I'm like, okay, I leave you to make the best decision. So we should trust the men. But then, I don't want to hear another scandal. Women sneaked in. This girl that. It doesn't do us, as the women, it doesn't do us right. Enough of that. You the player will walk away. But that woman, that scar is still there. And I don't want you to see that. As I will say it again, Cranium said it, nobody has to know that me and you, we have done something. So please, protect the women's dignity, protect your dignity. And besides, I don't want to hear anything like, you know, a woman coming to say that I was raped and all that. We know how these rape charges and allegations affect the player's career. So please and please, go play your football, come back safely, win the trophy, and let's jubilate. You don't want any scandal. You know how these people sometimes they behave. It might be consensual, but at the end of the day, they say that you raped the person. And of course, if you check and everything shows that there was penetration, you are messed up. So please, let's play safe. Playing safe means you can put the sex on hold if you can and just win the trophy for us.
If you can't, beat your meat.
No masturbation.
Because of your love for the Black Star, let me ask you 30 seconds. Do you think this World Cup will go well for us?
I'm not thinking it will go well.
Allah.
And that's on period.
Allah.
Period.
Please.
I trust my boys.
Note it down. That's Amma Broni, host of Most Encados, Nkomo, and then Entertainment on GhanaWeb TV. His father named him Paulina Opoku, but she said we should call her
Paula Amma
Broni. Amma with double M.
Exactly.
And that's Mystic Mike, editor of BlackPepper.com. Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this episode of the GhanaWeb Mundial. We wish to see you more often on the show, especially when the show begins, the World Cup proper begins, so that if things do some way, we will see the reaction of Amma Broni. So we are in Ghana, and there is a rule, and Mystic is telling the Black Star players, we don't want any scandal. The same with Amma Broni. It's just 1 month. If you don't have sex, you are not going to die. Today, we discuss the myth of no sex before game. Let me hear from you. What do you think about this particular topic in our comment section and all our social media handles, just with the hashtag GhanaWeb Mundial. My name is Joel Leshen, and thanks to the entire production crew, Kwame Adom and Hazel, for putting this amazing show together. Until we meet again, we come back on your screens on Monday as we discuss the expectations of Ghanaians, whether they think the Black Stars can make it out of the group. Because personally, I think that I'm only afraid of South Korea, and then I know Korea, they are going to play us without Son Heung-min. So me, I know that we are going to qualify from the group. What do you also think? Until we meet again, enjoy the rest of our programs and enjoy your weekend.